All right, let me ask you a question. What would you do if you were in my situation? You're back against the wall, caged in on all sides, and your land stolen by your neighbors. Would you keep going? Would you keep playing, beating your head against this wall? Would you let your pride drive you further down this road of insanity, trying again and again to stabilize your realm after being attacked for the millionth time? Or would you, like I did, start thinking about quitting? Maybe not outright. You might bargain with yourself. I'll restart, go back to the beginning. Try again, maybe this time it won't be so unforgiving. But that voice in the back of your head telling you, fight, keep going. The devil on your shoulder telling you the light is just around the next bend of the tunnel. He's whispering, trying to sell you what he sold me. You don't care about failure. You have 500 more years. Restarting wouldn't be worth it. Why would you play through these years again? Maybe playing as an adventurer would be fun. You might enjoy it. What if I told you that in this moment, I chose to continue? Would you believe me? Would you believe I kept going in this situation? Well, maybe you shouldn't. Because I didn't. I will admit, I gave up. I quit back to the main menu, clicked new game, and tried again. I rationalized it, thinking that if I just tried something different with Necklin, I could improve Bohemia enough to actually survive through the first 50 years of the game. To tell you the truth, that didn't work either. I got declared on by Bavaria again, and then in the middle of losing that war, I was invaded by the Count of Lubsko. Keep that name in your mind. It'll be important later. Now, I'll be honest. I tried for 2 hours on the first day that I started this challenge to get Bohemia going as Duke Necklin, and I just could not do it. I ended up restarting again, thinking that I would be able to take what I had learned and do even better the next time. I tried seizing what looked like a golden opportunity to take some land off of Great Moravia, and while at first it was seemingly going well, I got stomped by some random 2K stack that I still don't understand where it came from. And then I got declared on again by Angria. At this point, I was already feeling pretty defeated. I felt like I had tried everything within my power and I still couldn't do it. Within the minute, I had botched an illness treatment, gotten paranoid about my wife, gotten frustrated enough at the game to run my army into a full-strength enemy, and eventually decided that I was just gonna end stream for the night. I said that I would be back tomorrow to try again and see if I could get this supposed mega campaign past the first 100 years of the first game. I went to bed defeated and frustrated. I ended up not streaming Crusader Kings the next day, but after some research and a change of strategy, I came at day 2 with a fresh pair of eyes. Alright, I'm literally day 1, like, and I'm telling you, it's on site. I'm not even gonna fuck around and do anything other than whatchamacallit. Just go to Bohemia. Gotcha. I think so. Maybe if I go that way. Oh. Let's go. Oh, and I captured him. That's gigantic. That's incredible. That could not have gone any better. Oh my goodness. That literally could not have gone any better. That's right, Jarl Hæsteinn, baby. Only the roughest, toughest son of a Nord on this side of the English Channel. Now, I know what you're typing. Kage, this is so lame. Everyone plays Hæsteinn and it's too late. Well, I say, who cares? I want to have fun. I don't want to struggle through the first 100 years as I build a power base. I want paint that big. All jokes aside, I wanted to play Hæsteinn for 2 reasons. One was definitely because it's more fun for me to start stronger, collapse a few times, and eventually grow into the premier power of the old world late game. The second reason is because I really like the alt history implications of this move. The cultural significance alone would be huge if a Viking occupation and settlement succeeded in early Czech land, and I cannot wait for the early modern parts of this mega campaign. Now, with some early conquest underway, we look for some semi-historical borders first.
Got a bunch of troops, though. Big. He's gonna come attack me? Do it. Do it. No. He's gonna go siege his capital. Thank God. Wait. I'm gonna catch this army. Yoink. I want blood. Blood for the blood god. Blood for the blood god. Blood for the blood god. Jesus. Double stack wipe is crazy. Yoink. We are closer to forming true Bohemia with Hæsteinn. Check. My hybrid culture.
I'm not sure how much you knew about the real Hæsteinn, but I promise whatever you knew about him isn't nearly as interesting as who he actually was. His true origins are unknown, with theories ranging from being one of the first sons of legendary Viking Ragnar Lothbrok to being a son of some random displaced Danish family from Charlemagne's time. He finds himself setting off from the Loire Valley in 859 on a joint raiding expedition through the Med with none other than Bjorn Ironside raiding the coast all the way down to the Strait of Gibraltar. The two fought their way through the Andalusian nations living in Spain and through the Maghreb all the way over to Tunisia and then back up to the Balearics. The hordes stayed hungry though, and they kept ravaging through southern France, pillaging for their golden glory. Eventually, they set their sails to the seaside city of Luna, now Luni, in northern Italy. Upon seeing the old and somewhat ruinous walled Roman city, Hæsteinn and Bjorn believed that they had found the center of classical civilization, Rome itself, a shadow of its former glory. Hæsteinn knew that they couldn't get in via direct assault on the walls, so he hatched a plan that would go down in Viking history, and sometimes credit is given to Bjorn. History is fuzzy. Disguised as a dying man, Hæsteinn ordered his men to carry him into the city on a stretcher. He called forth the clergy of the town, begging them as a dying pagan man to renounce his former ways and gain the glory of God before he passed from this life. The clergy, pitying the poor heretic, brought him and his men into their temple and gave him their sacrament. They pronounced him a new man, glory unto God. The next morning, the newly converted Hæsteinn would succumb to his wounds, dying in his camp outside the city. The townsfolk and clergy allowed 50 of Hæsteinn's men, clad in robes, to bring the dead man's body through the city and into the temple, where they would hold a Christian funeral for him. That's when, from under the shroud, Hæsteinn activated his trap card. He decapitated the priest in one swift motion, and then rallied his men to rampage through the city. They sacked Rome, thinking they had just triumphed over the most powerful city in their time's history. Then a townsperson spoke up. Signor Viking, sir, this isn't Roma. This is Luna. Hæsteinn was pissed. He ordered a full slaughter of the men in the city and took many of the women and children as slaves. What may have been a glorious victory for him turned into a bloody lesson on how not to handle being corrected. Karma got her lick back though, because on the way back to Loire, Hæsteinn and Bjorn lost 40 ships to a storm rolling through their fleet. They lost 2 more fighting back through Gibraltar, getting hit by a surprise attack from the Andalusians. Not to be outdone by Karma, Hæsteinn captured the king of Pamplona and held him ransom for a huge sum of 70,000 gold dinars, then returned to a semi-permanent home in Loire, or what we in CK3 call Montague. If you thought Hæsteinn was done, you'd be sorely mistaken. Now a living legend, Hæsteinn forged an alliance with Solomon, king of Brittany, and raided up the northwestern coast of Francia. They sacked Le Mans, but this drew the attention of Robert the Strong, a legendary man in his own right. He raised his armies to defend his homeland and successfully cornered Hæsteinn and his men in a walled church. Surrounded and desperate, Hæsteinn once again hatched a plan to kill Robert as he took off his armor for a better look at the siege. It worked flawlessly. The Vikings poured out of the church and caught the Franks off guard, killing Robert and sending his troops into disarray. Once again victorious, Hæsteinn went back home to bask in his spoils and revel in his short era of peace that he had ushered in. That is where we arrive at our divergence point. Roughly in the year 867, Charles the Bald, king of Francia, decided he was tired of getting pushed around by all the Norse guys and stuff, so he mobilizes his armies and began campaigning to keep and regain some of his territory. In normal Earth lore, Hæsteinn sees the unguarded coast of England across the channel and jumps on it, eventually resulting in failure to gain any territory and a sad fade into obscurity before dying an old man somewhere in private. In our lore, Hæsteinn sees Charles the Bald get antsy and still decides to sail away, but he goes through the channel instead of across it. Making a short stop in Denmark and Sweden to say hi to some old friends and maybe solidify his claims of Lothbrok heritage, he sailed further into the Baltic Sea, docking in Pomerania, and pillaging his way down eastern Germany until landing on a hill overlooking Prague. Weak Duke Necklin wouldn't have been able to handle his siege anyway, so he sends his sons and armies away from Prague and hides in the neighboring Great Moravia. Hæsteinn, ever the strategist, turns his armies from the siege and moves to cut Hostevit off from reaching the Moravian capital. Hostevit realizes he's been ambushed too late, and though he attempts to flee into East Francia, Hæsteinn's horde catches up and decimates the Bohemian army. Hæsteinn captures Hostevit, effectively ending the conflict and forcing Necklin to hand over control of Bohemia itself to its new Jarl. Now armed with not only his hordes of seasoned Vikings, but also a small nation of Czechs he lords over, Jarl Hæsteinn quickly set to work on growing his landed power base. He assimilates to lordship quickly and sends a messenger of war to Great Moravia. The Vikings pour into Moravia proper, sieging and pillaging the capital of surrounding area. The Moravian army attempts to relieve their capital of the invaders, but a swift decision from Hæsteinn catches half the Moravian army off guard and obliterates the entire force. With no military threat strong enough to challenge him left in the area, Hæsteinn had full right to negotiate peace with King Radoslav. But the bloodthirsty Viking wanted blood for Odin, and so he marched further on to wipe out the last of the Moravian army. Finally satisfied, Hæsteinn took the area around the capital of Moravia, taking the name as well to symbolize his subjugation of the Moravian people. Now that Jarl Hæsteinn was comfortable in his holdings, he began stabilizing his realm and attempting to deal with internal matters. His nature as a Viking, however, cannot help but take over.
Oh, I need 500. Brother. Forklift Battle Royale. Actually, that sounds like it'd be fun.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What is this? You're fucking joking. Oh my god, that's what? What? Yeah, it's literally just it's holding my hand now. I swapped to Hæsteinn and the game is just like, nah, bro, here. And I forgot to change the fucking inheritable part, so now my heirs inherit the fucking trait. No, fuck. That's so, I can't. No. When I was playing, I got really excited and thought that I had hit the proverbial jackpot, hitting the 5% chance I thought it was to get the Conqueror trait. Upon doing some further research, there's a whole process in which you gain the trait or don't every 5 in-game years, and I found this table of all the modifiers to the chance of getting the trait once you pass the initial requirements check. Thanks to Bread God Gaming for doing all the hard work and letting bozos like me figure out that I had a roughly 9% chance of rolling the Conqueror trait here. After grabbing Silesia and cleaning up our southeastern borders, we looked into some more personal and slightly shadier dealings before accruing enough money to finally form our new kingdom, Hasteinn'S Kingdom of Bohemia.
Okay, this looks a little better. I kind of want this just to make it even-ish. Even more even. Also, just to fuck on this Lubsko shit. I want to finally conquer Lubsko. Do I declare war on the Polish just for Lubsko? The multi-dimensional hate for Lubsko is real. I'm giving Toki titles. You are going to be the Jarl of... I haven't created a poem. Stupid. Oh, it's because he's already a Jarl. Okay, then I guess Olvir, you're getting Silesia. Merry Christmas, kid. In June. One daughter. Lion's power. Rurikids. Oh, yes. That's fucking massive. Matrilineal? Oh, let's fucking go. Yeah, okay. Okay. I think we'll be okay. I think we're gonna be aight. And I just want Lubsko. Sorry, Mr. Piast. This is a personal vendetta. Capital sieged. Yes. Now, where are they? Where are they? Can I demolish this? Yes. Absolutely demolished. What do you want? Oh. What? They just... What?
Yeah, to be 100% honest with you, I still have no idea how this guy became Duke of Silesia. I was resolving a personal matter over Lubsko, and all of a sudden the war is over and he's the Duke.
Fuck it. Let's go! He died. And it reduced my stress. Big. Dynasty legacy. Okay. Fuck, well. I guess noble veins, because we already have traits in the family. If I invaded your kingdom, how much would I get? A lot. For free. And it would be pretty easy. What if you formed the... Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Hæsteinn HRE. That's why I'm looking at expanding into Bavaria.
Like I said on stream, my idea for the CK3 part of this mega campaign is to form the Holy Roman Empire with a descendant of Hæsteinn and establish Habsburg-like dominance, and a rivalry with the descendants of the Robertines or the Carlings. One of my hopes is that the Carlings stick around for the entirety of the CK3 portion, that way I can carry that lore into EU4. That gives me a moment to mention that I would love to make a mod for this save once it's ready to be converted to EU4, and maybe give myself a mission tree or a few other countries with mission trees just to simulate what the history of those nations would be like with the alterations made by our campaign.
I don't want to gain so much stress. Oh, I won't, because 70%. Watch me roll bad. I fucking rolled bad. In my big goddamn mouth.
After a bit of courtly tomfoolery and comedic timing, a helpful Slovian revolt that I conveniently ignored reminds me that it may be time for a bit of a drastic change.
What if now is the time to do one of these? I think now might be the time. Yeah, most people will not most people will convert. Why? Because aren't you already? Fuck it. Point. Glory to God. We are now Catholic. And hopefully that makes them like me. Yeah, big. Now we're chilling.
With the Catholics in Bavaria satisfied with Hæsteinn's true conversion to godly ways, the man himself can start setting his sights back on the thing he wants the most. More land. His eyes turn eastward to Hungary.
Hungary's only ally is Bohemia. Fuck it, dude. This is gonna be a fucking nightmare during succession. But it's gonna feel really cool before succession. Ah, nice. Good job learning Norse. Oh, speaking of Norse, what's the cultural acceptance looking like? 8%. Form hybrid culture. Now, what do we call the Czech Norse hybrid culture? Chorse? Neck? Nork? Noric? Czech? Czechs? Just Czechs? Czechse? Czechs? Bohemian, maybe?
Now, I won't bore you with the entire 5 minutes that it took me to form the Bohemian hybrid culture, but I will share some of what we built. We honestly didn't hybridize too much, but that's because I'm planning on hybridizing a second time later down the line into a new culture that I'll get into once that gets here. We kept bellicose because I like the modifiers to warfare and the increased conqueror chance, kept all the same traditions, and started essentially Eastern Europeizing the Norse culture.
Fuck it. Boom jams. Bohemian. Oh, look at that culture already. That looks good. Yeah. That's good stuff right there. All right. Back to war. I forgot that we were at war, not gonna lie. Join? Oh my god, that's so much. Oh my god, hold on. What's happening? Where are you? Where are you? What the heck happened? Who are you? Oh. Gosh dang it, dude. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna usurp Hungary real quick. Hungary. Usurp the Hungary. Usurp the Hungary. I didn't even see that. Until I literally said it and didn't realize until after I had clicked it. That's so funny. Usurp the Hungary.
So there are two ways to get an empire tag in Crusader Kings 3. There's the easy way, which is to conquer 80 provinces, hold 3 kingdoms, and have a fame level of Exalted Among Men or higher. Then there's the easy way. Just conquer all the kingdom tiles and the de jure lands of an existing empire title, and form it for much less money and an increase in prestige. Can you guess which one I chose? Spoiler alert, it's the first one.
Oh, 11.99. Imagine I died right as I right in that fucking pause. That would have been really funny. New empire. Gather the realm. Bohemia reigns supreme. The Bohemian Empire. Yeah. That actually looks kind of cool. It's just a big old Czech-Hungary. It's just Austria-Hungary.
With Hæsteinn's Bohemian Empire fully realized, I decided to take a quick look around the map to see what was going on in our near neighbors' lands. Mainly I was checking in on the other sons of Lothbrok and seeing if they had been successful in their conquest. Checking up on Snake in the Eye and the Boneless, I saw that neither of them had set up a permanent Danelaw or Danish kingdom in the British Isles, and thus the Viking conquest of England had failed. Checking up on our old friend Ironside, it seems as if his House Munso has stabilized Sweden, and the Sigurders are still sitting pretty back home in Denmark. Eventually, I move on and declare war on Polabia for a duchy title. Hæsteinn likes to draw from Roman tactics, so we'll call it the classic Roman strategy of aggressive defense.
Blackmail? Oh, he knows that I killed Radislav. Charles the Bald is still alive too. You old bastard. Blackmailing me, you motherfucker. You know what? I don't care. It's been long enough. I do not care. Almost 90, Hæsteinn. You're gonna keep on kicking? Can I declare war? Or yes, I can for the rest of Nitra. Yeah, and you have like no fucking troops right now, so you die, my friend. Wow, the war is invalidated anyway. We lost a war for no reason. Or lost a battle for no reason. Incredible. Does he even have an army left? Okay, there we go. We'll just take it on. Thanks.
I just want to take this quick little segment nearing the end here to say a quick thank you, and to express how much I appreciate you for watching. It means a lot that you made it almost all the way to the end of the video, and you sticking around helps a ton. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. You can even hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload a video. If you enjoyed the clips in this video, stop by my live stream on Twitch. I stream most days from 7-ish to 9-ish p.m. Eastern, but the exact time frame always varies depending on how long I can stream. I stream a lot of variety content, so don't be surprised if you tune in and don't see me streaming Paradox games. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll get back to the video. So, to recap, with Jarl Hæsteinn of Montague, we set out on a Varangian adventure to Bohemia, conquered it, became a conqueror, formed the Bohemian culture, converted to Catholic, and created a new Bohemian Empire. Now, at the ripe old age of 96, Emperor Hæsteinn the Hawk of Bohemia has nothing left to accomplish but cement his legendary status and wait for his time with God.
A new emperor. Honestly, I think I need to start this before Hæsteinn dies, so that his son can carry it on. Because I don't think his son can get it. You don't inherit legend seeds, except for stuff like Gothic Kings. What's the full one? Legendary Adventure? Demand local submission is nice. Yeah, I think. I will be dead within a year. Hæsteinn's gonna die. Alright. What does Hæsteinn do in his last year of life? I know exactly what Hæsteinn does in his last year of life. I have cancer! Hæsteinn has cancer! Oh my god! You know what? Just ease the pain. It's time. It's time for Hæsteinn. We reduced the cancer symptoms, but we are still terminal. Hæsteinn is still terminal. No fucking way. Why would you say that? I oughta ban you, Generalissimo. Octua lives for another day. Don't you sully Emperor Hasteinn's name like that. No, I'm a Hawktua hater. I have to. Hasteinn's final moments. Please tell me, oh, please tell me she's gonna get pregnant with Hæsteinn's child and it's just some random woman. Called Ossory? Fuck it. Go, Hæsteinn. Die on the road. He just leaves and never comes back. Yeah, come with me, random guy. I'm dying. I'm dead. All right, Ragnar.
"97 times. 97 times they rang the bell of St. George's Cathedral for my grandfather. Not long after he had shown us God's grace, the Emperor died, stricken with a disease within him. It was invisible, eating him up inside and out, turning him into a husk of his former self. Once proud and mighty scourge of the West had died a frail and weak man. My father knew his father did not want to die like this. "Old age is the way fishermen die," he said. "Not conquerors. We are Vikings, boy. We die in battle." Well, by the end of his life, he could no longer even hold the hand out. But everyone knew who he was. Emperor Hæsteinn was my grandfather. And though not everyone loved him, he was the father of all Bohemians. When his body returned from Saxony, my father carried it to the castle. Bjorg was waiting, ready to embalm him and preserve this great man. For the next 7 days, the entire realm mourned. Black was hanged on every rampart. Castles opened their gates to beggars and refugees. We heard of a marked decrease in crime, as if even those who hid in the shadows had known the dark days. On the 7th day, an open coffin feast was held at Prague Castle, hosted by my father and uncles. Series of farewells and tributes did not end until the light from the sky had faded. All the brothers drank celebratory ale, a tradition from our Nordic roots, and then they divided the kingdom as their father had planned before his death. My father, Emperor Ragnar, was crowned and assumed power as the new head of state. After the banquet, Emperor Hæsteinn's coffin was carried out of the castle to the sound of bells and arrive at Petrin Hill, where my siblings and I built a huge Viking ship. My grandfather's body was placed in the ship along with his closest belongings and reminders of past victories, and it seemed as if the entire empire watched as the flames released his soul to be with God. A new emperor, translated from Old Bohemian, Eyvindir Skaldaspillir,